Welcome to 11th class textbook biology audiobook. Diversity in the living world. If you look around, you will see a large variety of living organisms, be it potted plants, insects, birds, your pets, or other animals and plants. There are several organisms that you cannot see with your naked eye, but they are all around you. If you were to increase the area that you make observations in, the range and variety of organisms that you see would increase. Obviously, if you were to visit a dense forest, you would probably see a much greater number and kinds of living organism in it. Each different kind of plant, animal, or organism that you see represents a species. The number of species that are known and described range between 1.7 to 1.8 million. This refers to biodiversity or the number and types of organisms present on Earth. We should remember here that as we explore new areas and even old ones, new organisms are continuously being identified. As stated earlier, there are millions of plants and animals in the world. We know the plants and animals in our own area by their local names. These local names would vary from place to place, even within a country. Probably, you would recognize the confusion that would be created if we did not find ways and means to talk to each other. To refer to organisms we are talking about. Hence, there is a need to standardize the naming of living organisms such that a particular organism is known by the same name all over the world. This process is called nomenclature. Obviously, nomenclature or naming is only possible when the organism is described correctly and we know to what organism the name is attached to. This is identification. In order to facilitate the study, number of scientists have established procedures to assign a scientific name to each non-organism. This is acceptable to biologists all over the world. For plants, scientific names are based on agreed principles and criteria which are provided in International Code for Botanical Nomenclature (ICBN). You may ask, how are animals named? Animal taxonomists have evolved International Code of Zoological Nomenclature (ICZN). The scientific names ensures that each organism has only one name. Description of any organism should enable the people in any part of the world to arrive at the same name. They also ensure that such a name has not been used for any other known organism. Biologists follow universally accepted principles to provide scientific names to non-organisms. Each name has two components, the generic name and the specific epithet. The system of providing a name with two components is called binomial nomenclature. This naming system given by Carolus Linnaeus is being practiced by biologists all over the world. This naming system using a two-word format was found convenient. Let us take the example of mango to understand the way of providing scientific names better. The scientific name of mango is written as Mangifera indica. Let us see how it is binomial name. In this name, Mangifera represents the genus while the indica is a particular species or a specific epithet. Other universal rules of nomenclature are as follows. 1. Biological names are generally in Latin and written in italics. They are Latinized or derived from Latin, irrespective of their origin. Second, the first word in biological name represents the genus, while the second component denotes the specific epithet. Third, both the words in biological name, when handwritten, are separately underlined or printed in italics to indicate their Latin origin. The first word denoting the genus starts with a capital letter, while the specific epithet starts with a small letter. It can be illustrated with the example of Mangifera indica. Name of the author appears after the specific epithet. It implies at the end of the biological name and is written in an abbreviated form. Example, Mangifera indica Linnaeus. It indicates that this species was first described by Linnaeus. Since it is nearly impossible to study all the living organisms, it is necessary to devise some means to make this possible. This process is classification. Classification is the process by which anything is grouped into convenient categories based on some easily observable characters. For example, we easily recognize groups such as plants or animals or dogs, cats or insects. The moment we use any of these terms, we associate certain characters with the organism in that group. What image do you see when you think of a dog? Obviously, each one of us will see dogs and not cats. Now, if we were to think of Alsatians, we know what we are talking about. Similarly, suppose we were to say mammals, you would of course think of animals with external ears and body hair. Likewise, in plants, if we try to talk of wheat, the picture in each of our minds will be of wheat plants, not of rice or any other plant. Hence, all these dogs, cats, mammals, wheat, rice, plants, animals, etc. are convenient categories we use to study organisms. The scientific term for these categories is taxa. Here you must recognize that taxa can indicate categories at very different levels. Plants also form a taxa. Wheat is also a taxa. Similarly, animals, mammals, dogs, all are taxa. But you know that a dog is mammal and mammals are animals. Therefore, animals, mammals and dogs represents taxa at different levels. Hence, based on characteristics, all living organisms can be classified into different taxa. This process of classification is taxonomy. External and internal structure, along with the structure of cell, development, process, and ecological information of organisms are essential and form the basis of modern taxonomic studies. Hence, characterization, identification, classification, and nomenclature are the process that are basic to taxonomy. Taxonomy is not something new. Human beings have always been interested in knowing more and more about the various kinds of organisms, particularly with reference to their own use. In early days, human beings needed to find sources for their basic needs of food, clothing, and shelter. as the earliest classification were based on the uses of various organisms. Human beings were since long not only interested in knowing more about different kinds of organisms and their diversities, but also the relationship among them. This branch of study was referred to as systematics. The word systematics is derived from the Latin word systema, which means systematic arrangement of organisms. Linnaeus used Systema Naturae as the title of his publication. The scope of systematics was later enlarged to include identification, nomenclature, and classification. Systematics takes into account evolutionary relationship between organisms. 1.3 Taxonomic categories. Classification is not a single step process but involves hierarchy of steps in which each step represents a rank or category. Since the category is a part of overall taxonomic arrangement, it is called the taxonomic category, and all categories together constitute the taxonomic hierarchy. Each category referred to as a unit of classification in fact represents a rank and is commonly termed as taxon. Plural is taxa. Taxonomic categories and hierarchy can be illustrated by an example. Insects represents a group of organisms sharing common features like three pair of jointed legs. It means insects are recognizable concrete objects which can be classified and thus were given a rank or category. Can you name other such groups of organisms? Remember, groups represents category. Category further denotes rank. Each rank or taxon in fact represents a unit of classification. These taxonomic groups, categories, are distinct biological entities and not merely morphological aggregates. Taxonomical studies of all known organisms have led to the development of common categories such as kingdom, phylum, or division for plants, class, order, family, genus, and species. All organisms, including those in the plant and animals kingdom, have species as the lowest category. Now, the question you may ask is how to place an organism in various categories. The basic requirement is the knowledge of characters of an individual or group of organism. This help in identifying similarities and dissimilarities among the individuals of the same kind of organism as well as of other kinds of organism. 1.3.1 Species. Taxonomic studies consider a group of individual organisms with fundamental similarities as a species. One should be able to distinguish one species from the other closely related species based on distinct morphological differences. Let us consider Mangifera indica, Solanum tuberosum potato, and Panthera leo, lion. All the three names indica, tuberosum, and leo represents the specific epithet, while the first word Mangifera, Solanum, and Panthera are genera and represents another higher level of taxon or category. Each genus may have one or more than one specific epithet representing different organisms but having morphological similarities. For example, Panthera has another specific epithet called tigris, and Solanum includes species like Nigrum and Melongena. Human beings belongs to the species Sapiens, which is grouped in the genus Homo. The scientific name thus for human being is written as Homo sapiens. 1.3.2 Genus. Genus comprises a group of related species which has more characters in common in comparison to species of other genera. We can say that genera are aggregates of closely related species. For example, potato and brinjal are two different species but both belongs to the genus Solanum. Lion, Panthera leo, leopard, Panthera pardus, and tiger, Panthera tigris, with several common features, are all species of the genus Panthera. This genus differs from another genus Felis, which includes cats. 1.3.3 Family. The next category, family, has a group of related genera with still less number of similarities as compared to genus and species. Families are characterized on the basis of the both vegetative and reproductive features of plant species. Among plant, for example, three different genera Solanum, Petunia, and Datura are placed in the family Solanaceae. Among animals, for example, genus Panthera comprising lion, tiger, leopard is put along with the genus Felis cats in the family Felidae. Similarly, if you observe the features of a cat and a dog, you will find some similarities and some differences as well. They are separated into two different families, Felidae and Canidae, respectively. 1.3.4 Order. You have seen earlier that categories like species, genus, and families are based on a number of similar characters. Generally, order and other higher taxonomic categories are identified based on the aggregate of characters. Order, being a higher category, is the assemblies of families which exhibit a few similar characters. The similar characters are less in number as compared to different genera included in the family. Plant families like Convolucea, Solanaceae are included in the order Polymoniales, mainly based on the floral characters. The animal order Carnivora include families like Felidae and Canidae. 1.3.5 Class. This category includes related orders. For example, order Primata comprising monkey, gorilla, and gibbon is placed in class Mammalia along with order Carnivora that includes animals like tiger, cat, and dog. Class Mammalia has other orders also. 1.3.6 Phylum. Classes comprising animals like fishes, amphibians, reptiles, birds, along with mammals constitute the next higher category called phylum. All these based on the common feature like presence of notochord and dorsal hollow neural system are included in phylum Chordata. In case of plants, classes with a few similar characters are assigned to a higher category called division. Kingdom. All animals belonging to the various phyla are assigned to the highest category called kingdom. Animalia in the classification system of animals. The kingdom Plantae, on the other hand, is distinct and comprises all plants from various divisions. Henceforth, we will refer to these two groups as animal and plant kingdoms. Figure 1.1 Taxonomic categories showing hierarchical arrangement in the ascending order: species, genus, family, order, class, phylum or division, and kingdom. The taxonomic categories from species to kingdom have been shown in the ascending order starting with species in figure 1.1. These are broad categories, however, taxonomists have also developed subcategories in this hierarchy to facilitate more sound and scientific placements of various taxa. Look at hierarchy in figure 1.1. Can you recall the basis of arrangement? Say for example we go higher from species to kingdom. The number of common characteristics goes on decreasing. Lower the taxa, more the characteristics that the members within the taxon share. Higher the category, greater is the difficulty of determining the relationship other taxa at the same level. Hence, the problem of the classification more complex. Table 1.1 indicates the taxonomic categories to which some common organisms like housefly, man, mango, and wheat belongs. Organisms with their taxonomic categories. Common name man, biological name Homo sapiens, genus Homo, family Hominidae, order Primata, class Mammalia, phylum division Chordata. Housefly Musca domestica, genus is Musca, family Muscidae, order Diptera, class Insecta, phylum Orthopoda. Mango Mangifera indica, genus is Mangifera, family Encardiaceae, order Spinedales, class Dicotyledon, phylum Angiospermae. Wheat Triticum aestivum, biological name genus is Triticum, family is Poaceae, order Poales, class is Monocotyledone, phylum division Angiospermae. 1.4 Taxonomical aids. Taxonomic studies of various species of plants, animals, and other organisms are useful in agriculture, forestry, industry, and in general in knowing our bioresources and their diversity. These studies would require correct classification and identification of organism. Identification of organism requires intensive laboratory and field studies. The collection of actual specimens of plants and animal species is essential and is the prime source of taxonomic studies. These are also fundamental to studies and essential for training in systematics. It is used for classification of an organism, and the information gathered is also stored along with the specimens. In some cases, the specimen is preserved for future studies. Biologists have established certain procedures and techniques to store and preserve the information as well as the specimens. Some of these are explained to help you understand the uses of these aids. 1.4.1 Herbarium. Herbarium is a storehouse of collected plant specimens that are dried, pressed, and preserved on seeds. Further, these seeds are arranged according to a universally accepted system of classification. These specimens, along with their description on herbarium sheets, become a storehouse of or repository for future use. Figure 1.2 Herbarium showing stored specimens. The herbarium sheets also carry a label providing information about date and place of collection, English, local and botanical names, family, collector names, etc. Herbaria also serves as quick referral system in taxonomical studies. 1.4.2 Botanical Gardens. These specialized gardens have collections of living plants for reference. Plant species in these gardens are grown for identification purpose, and each plant is labeled indicating its botanical scientific name and its family. The famous botanical gardens are at Kew, England. Indian Botanical Garden, Hora, India, Howrah, and at National Botanical Research Institute, Lucknow, India. Museum 1.4.3 Museum. Biological museums are generally set up in educational institutes such as schools and colleges. Museums have collections of preserved plants and animal specimens for study and reference. Specimens are preserved in the containers or jars in preservative solutions. Plant and animal specimens may also be preserved as dry specimens. Insects are preserved in insect boxes after collecting, killing, and pinning. Larger animals like birds and mammals are usually stuffed and preserved. Museums often have collections of skeletons of animals too. 1.4.4 Zoological Parks. These are the places where wild animals are kept in protected environments under human care and which enables us to learn about their food habits and behavior. All animals in the zoo are provided as far as possible the conditions similar to their natural habitats. Children love visiting these parks, commonly called zoos. Figure 1.3. Pictures showing animals in different zoological parks of India. 1.4.5 Key. Key is another taxonomical aid used for identification of plants and animals based on the similarities and dissimilarities. The keys are based on the contrasting characters generally in a pair called couplet. It represents the choice made between two opposite options. This results in acceptance of only one and rejection of the other. Each statement in the key is called a lead. Separate taxonomies keys are required for each taxonomic category such as family, genus, and species for identification purposes. Keys are generally analytical in nature. Flora, manuals, monographs, and catalogs are some other means of recording descriptions. They also help in correct identification. Flora contains the actual account of habitat and distribution of plants of a given area. These provide the index to the plant species found in a particular area. Manuals are useful in providing information for identification of names of species found in an area. Monographs contain information of any one taxon. Summary. The living world is rich in variety. Millions of plants and animals have been identified and described, but a large number still remains unknown. The very range of organisms in terms of size, color, habitat, physiological and morphological features make us seek the defining characteristics of living organisms. In order to facilitate the study of kinds of diversity of organisms, biologists have evolved certain rules and principles for identification, nomenclature, and classification of organisms. The branch of knowledge dealing with these aspects is referred to as taxonomy. The taxonomic studies of various species of plants and animals are useful in agriculture, forestry, industry, and in general for knowing our bioresources and their diversity. The basics of taxonomic identification, naming, and classification of organisms are universally evolved under international codes. Based on the resemblance and distinct differences, each organism is identified and assigned a correct scientific biological name comprising two words as per the binomial system of nomenclature. An organism occupies a place or position in the system of classification. There are many categories. Ranks are generally referred to as taxonomic categories or taxa. All the categories constitute a taxonomic hierarchy. Taxonomists have developed a variety of taxonomic aids to facilitate identification, naming, and classification of organisms. These studies are carried out from the actual specimens which are collected from the field and preserved as referral in the form of herbaria, museums, and in botanical garden and zoological parks. It requires special techniques for collection and preservation of specimens in herbaria and museums. Live specimens, on the other hand, or plants and animals are found in botanical gardens or in zoological parks. Taxonomists also prepare and disseminate information through manuals and monographs for further taxonomic studies. Taxonomic keys are tools that help in identification based on characteristics. Thank you.